said plans are on the way to spend 15 billion naira for the construction of a new residence for the Vice President, Kashim Shettima.
It's to pepper his enemies now. Can't you remember when he said, we've given some people newspaper, we didn't give some people? It's to pepper his enemies now. Oji, all I'm just going to say is, if we are sensible, if our leaders are sensible, you better cancel that 15 billion and cancel that money to be spent on renovation.
Correct.
Number 10 Downing Street, the British economy is way bigger than ours. Number 10 Downing Street is 339 years old house. That's where every world leader goes to visit the British. Guess what some prime ministers complain about number 10 Downing? It's too small. But they dare not say they want to go and build new prime minister's house.
Talk about bringing out 15 billion.
Talk about building 15 billion. Oji, that house we are seeing is 339 years old. It was started in 1682. It was completed in 1684. These guys don't care. They are just, they are wobbia. Eat. All of my Nigeria, may God not allow them eat this country to do.
I mean, Rufai, thank you for bringing out that fact.
What you say for wisdom is that if you work at the Yes, fellow Nigerians, greetings to you all. It is the Comrade Show, and my name is Comrade Lante Oriahi. The many political Gbos that we are, having in Nigeria. That is what we are going to be discussing today. And I'm very glad to welcome you to this program. Please, if you are joining us, you know the drill. Help share this broadcast, because the issues affecting Nigeria, they are not as much as many of us actually think. They are not as many people actually talk about. The issues affecting Nigeria is simply leadership. The leaders that we have in Nigeria, they are just one-sided. Today we are going to be looking at some of those issues really affecting Nigeria, occasioned by the antics of the people we have as leaders of this country, from the president to the very least elected person. As a matter of fact, even told the average Nigerian, we're going to be looking at some of these issues and possibly, doing our best to proffer, solutions to sensitize all of us, to ensure that we need to, tread a different path. The road right now that we are traveling is one that definitely, appears to lead this country to doom. And God forbid they do not eat the whole of Nigeria. That is what these guys from Arise TV, summarized it. And the figures we hear, they are so much. Just recently, a couple of months ago, the newly sworn in affirmed president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, sent in a supplementary budget to the National Assembly, of which about 3 billion naira was approved by the National Assembly for the renovation of the the residential quarters of the vice president in Lagos. Another 2.5 billion was approved for the Aguda House in Abuja. And just in the last few days, the FCT minister, Yeson Wike, went to the National Assembly to defend yet another budget of about 15 billion that's going to be used for the building of the residence of the same vice president. Now, I am not talking of what has been approved for the office of the president, for his residence and all of that. I'm talking of the vice president. Because today, Nigeria is one-sided, there are no oppositions. The political parties are supposed to be in opposition, they are not in opposition. We don't hear anything from them. The only person who appears to be playing the role of opposition right now in Nigeria is Peter Gregory Obi. And Peter Gregory Obi questioned this, budget of 15 billion for the residence of the vice president. Meanwhile, 5 billion has been approved for student loans. And from what we have seen of this approval, it is only going to be a very rigorous process if that if anybody's going to eventually benefit from that, student loan. We are not hearing anything about our health infrastructure. Our lecturers are still going on strike. NS is still going on strike because of, issues and because of demands that the federal government cannot fulfill. Nigeria is hurting. The cost of living is like never before seen, and people are dying. The level of insecurity is like never before seen. So many issues affecting this country, and one would expect that when a nation understands the direction it should face, the nation should be cutting down instead of this level of profligacy that we have never seen before. With me to look at this issue and many other issues is somebody one of the musketeers of the Comrade Show. His name is Dr. Tony Agbanserafe. Dr. Agbons, you're welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you very much, Comrade General. I'll add General to it. Lante Ponsa Oriahi. Thank you, my brother.
You're looking radiant.
Yeah, you too, my brother. You are looking like a professor emeritus today. the minister of the Inwin-Wizins.
And of the Ozinabotos. Thank you so much. I really welcome you. Nigerians, Comrade Pharmacist Austin Ramirez is unable to be part of this program today because he's attending to some other duties. Okay, of course, we are very much focused on national development. Hopefully, it's going to be with us next Sunday. Dr. Agbons, another 15 billion naira to be expended for office, I would say, of the vice president. This time to build his own residence. I mean, I've already tried to establish the sum of over nearly 6 billion has already been approved for the Aguda House and, of course, for the residents in Lagos. And this one, 15 billion. I mean, does this make sense?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, my brother. And for many Nigerians, everybody is stupefied. Everybody is, people are shaking their heads because it looks like the political class in Nigeria, they don't even understand, or if they understand it, they don't feel the pain of the Nigerian people. Because when you were mentioning those billion, even the Arise TV, personnel when they were talking, so you begin to ask yourself, this billion, is it not the one we learned in school? When you have 0.0000 in about 9 places. So because you begin to wonder, is it not billion we are talking about here? And then you are talking about 3 billion, 2.5 billion, 4 billion, 15 billion, that billion. For what? Just for buildings. These people, are they homeless at the moment? Are they homeless? You talked about what has been approved. I have some other ones here. We have 4 billion for renovation of residential quarters for Mr. President. Okay. Then we have another 4 billion for construction of office complex within the State House. That is in Abuja. Then we have 4 billion for renovation of Dodam Barracks, Lagos official residence of Mr. President. And we can go on and on and on. It's not looking good.
Definitely not looking good. Definitely not looking good. Looking at the level of profligacy that we see with this government so far, I mean, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was sworn in on May the 29th, and so far, when we look at the trajectory of government, we look at the level of expenditure and somewhat insensitivity to the plight of Nigerians. Just, in recent weeks, over 400 Nigerians were sent, to, was it Saudi Arabia for the climate change?
Also UAE for
UAE, yes.
Climate conference.
For the climate conference, and up to nearly 2 billion was equally spent for that officially and all of that. And We have issues of power in this country. We have issues of what should this actually be the direction? Is this why the president was elected? I mean, I don't know how you want to encapsulate what we're already seeing right now, like a signature of the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yeah, the figures we are seeing, even, the painful thing, Comrade Oriahi, is that probably we'll come to that later, even to the state level.
Yeah.
The level of profligacy, the level of flexing by the political class in Nigeria now, those in power, their families, their friends, and their associates and hangers on, all those who are hailing them, is just too much. Like the COP28 climate change conference in Dubai. There was this huge uproar from Nigerians. We had in attendance people registered under Nigerian name as a country, 1,411. So when the government saw that people were screaming and all that, the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, he now released a statement to say that, the government didn't sponsor all the 1,400 plus, so those under the government sponsorship was only 422. And for some of us, we are like, 422 to attend a climate change conference in Dubai? Nigeria is not the one. Even if we are the one hosting this conference in Abuja or in Lagos or in Calabar or anywhere, should we even have up to 422 people attending? Don't they have other things to do? Is it not there? Malawi, the president cancelled. He was supposed to be there. He cancelled it. Yeah. I think we've played that video on this show in previous week. He cancelled it. And yes, because there should be time for priority. So they are just spending money anyhow. The other day at the UNGA, United Nations General Assembly in New York, the same thing. We all saw the figures. So when you look at it, you begin to ask, are these people, are they really there to serve? Or they are just taking this as an opportunity to flex and have the time of their lives? People are happy just traveling. Why Nigerians, the ordinary Nigerians, I'm sorry, I don't like using that word, ordinary Nigerians, but the ordinary Nigerians, they are in pain and hardship.
Yeah.
So it doesn't add up.
Now I want to ask you, does it bother you that, because in other climes, we see opposition with voice. We see opposition really come out and, help to effect change by playing the role of opposition. Does it bother you that we don't hear from PDP, we don't hear from Labour Party, and those of them that are supposed to be in opposition? Because from my own observation, it's looking, increasingly like the only opposition we have right now to government is Peter Gregory Obi. He appears to be the only one who speaks out on, insensitive policies of government. Does it bother you at all?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. Very apt. You are right. The sound of the opposition is not being heard the way we would have expected. And I must tell you that as a Nigerian, I'm not very happy with the silence of especially the Labour Party side of the opposition. I'm not happy at all. And I think probably the opposition have shot themselves in the foot. Comrade, we have a parable, in Benin.
Yes.
So what that means, translated, that if you know that you are allergic to milk, you don't share it with your mouth.
Yeah.
So they shot themselves in the foot, especially with regards to, though we have not mentioned that today, with the SUVs that was also approved for the National Assembly, sport utility vehicles. The House of Representatives and the Senate, both of them, I think 350, 169. I can't remember the figure. But together, both the Senate and House of Rep is made up of 469 members. Each person getting a sport utility vehicle valued at 160 million naira. So if you multiply 160 million naira times 469, we didn't hear anything from the opposition. They didn't challenge it. They did not. So I think that is where they themselves are complicit in all this matter. Because I expected that probably some senators or House of Rep members from the PDP or the Labour Party would have said, no, not at this time, that the country is going through all this. We are not going to accept this. At least they should make some noise. But we didn't hear that. So they accepted the SUVs, and then everybody just smiled, to their rooms. So that is where the challenge is. But like you said, Peter Obi has been very, very consistent. Even at a time, he had to even do a press conference, and then he's been tweeting as well. And his tweets, in fact, I saw one yesterday, millions of views. People are really responding. He's pushing the narrative and pushing the conversation. So that is what it should be. So government should be sensitive that this is not the time for, extravagant spending. In fact, if the government wants to be taken seriously by Nigerians, they should even cut all their emolument, all their entitlement. They cut it by 50, 60%. Then people will say, okay, let us all take these baby steps together. Because the government cannot be telling Nigerians, the president cannot be telling Nigerians, oh, we are taking baby steps, the reforms we are putting in, and Nigerians should be patient. How are you telling people to be patient when they in government, they in power, they are just enjoying and flexing? And it's not just only at the federal level, like I said, it's also at the state level. Some figures that are coming out from the budget office, when you look at what some state governors, some state government, what they are spending on meals, honorarium. This is going into millions of naira all across most of the states in 36 states in Nigeria. So you begin to wonder what is going on here. In fact, I was reading a report yesterday on your state government. I just want to give the exact figure so that I just give the exact figure. On your state government, 19 billion naira budgeted for the governor's office to run a couple of things. So you just imagine, this is billion. We just keep hearing, and it is very, very shameful.
Normally you have elections and you elect people, even though our own kind of election is very peculiar. You elect people to change the direction, to improve, to improve lives, to improve things, to improve infrastructure, to improve on development and every other thing. Would you? I mean, about 7 months into this administration, nearly so, would you say that this country right now, has a direction under this leadership?
Yeah, this is a very hard question to answer, because again, it takes us to the process that brought these people in. In fact, there's still a question of legitimacy. Did they actually win the election? Were these people actually elected or selected?
Yes.
Or neglected, as some people are saying now?
Yeah.
So that one is there. And that brings us back to the beginning, the genesis of the political Gbos.
Yes.
We have termed today's own.
Yes.
If these people were actually elected, would they be doing what they are doing now? Would they not be accountable to the people? Because what most people are saying is that these guys, they've hijacked power. Remember, power is not given, is not served a la carte.
Yeah,
I'm trying to put the words together.
Yeah.
You grab it, you take it, and you run with it. That is where we are now.
Yeah.
Because the level of spending You know, the other day we're talking of yacht, isn't it? 5 billion for that.
Yeah.
You know, so all these things, when you put them together, then it goes to that genesis of actually having a proper electoral process so that people that come in from local government chairman, councillors, state house of assembly members, national assembly, both house of rep and senators, president and governors, they get the mandate of the people, not the mandate of the court like we are having now. Anything happens, somebody will tell you, go to court. And then somebody will also now come and tell you, oh, let us go to court. We will tell them that we know those we know. So all these are the dynamics that are playing out. It shouldn't be.
I mean, you know, the question I've asked you is if there's a bright future for this nation under this government, particularly looking at the way, you know, things are going. Recently, I've not read that part of it, but I've, you know, glanced through to equally understand that this government has made huge, you know, provisions for former presidents, you know, former elected officers in our budgets, and a huge chunk of it will be going to them to, you know, give them new vehicles, new everything, you know, that has to do with living. And giving the attention and, you know, the what seems to be the priority of this government, we see that they have relegated the things that matter to Nigerians to the very, you know, background. You know, we don't have much on education. We don't have much on health. We don't have much on agriculture. We don't have much on infrastructure. You understand? But we have huge things budgeted, approved for the president's living condition, his housing, in fact, the presidency. And of course, the National Assembly, they are looking after themselves as well, and all of that. Given all of these, who now defends the interests of the masses?
At the moment, I'm afraid to say none, nobody. Because in a constitutional democracy, and this is what happens in other parts of the world, you know, comrade, we all know this. In a democracy, there are three arms of government: executive, legislature, and the judiciary. So, but in Nigeria, all three, they all seem to be working together right now to the detriment of the ordinary Nigerian. Because after the elections, you complain, you go to the judiciary will give a funny judgment, and then when governance begin, the legislature, these are the like senators and House of Rep, the members of the House of Assembly in the different states. These are the people that the way democracy was planned for checks and balance.
Yes.
They have to check,
Yes.
but nobody is checking.
Yeah.
So people have said that for democracy to thrive, both the judiciary and the legislature, they must put their foot down. Executive will always be executive. So, but my brother, when you look at the future for Nigeria, it's very bleak. And I say this without any equivocation and without apologies to anybody. It's very bleak because at the national level, and I'll come to the state, at the national level, this 10th National Assembly, it just look like an extension of the executive arm of government. Anything that goes there, it will fly through.
The way as Nigerians,
the same thing that is also happening in most state House of Assembly. So governors, they just pocket the legislatures at that level.
Yes.
So then you just look at it. What kind of democracy is this? Why is it that everything that comes to Nigeria is always different? Why? Nigeria, why?
So I want to ask now, do we as Nigerians have any role at all? Is there something that we can do as a people to change this narrative? Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, the people at the receiving end are the people, the Nigerian people, the masses. Is there anything? Because at the end of the day, I mean, you know, they say power belongs to the people.
Yeah.
It doesn't practically, it doesn't reflect that.
Yeah.
Do we, if any, what do you think the people need to do to begin to change this narrative?
Yeah, I think for the Nigerian people, a lot of the Nigerian people they have been beaten to stupor, battered and bruised, by poverty. Okay, so people are just, they are barely surviving. You know what we say when maybe somebody fall into the ocean and they say you are clinging on to the
life.
straw. So that is there. We are on air, and then when you use some language, they start to say, okay, you've committed treason and all that. So, but I think for the Nigerian people, people need to come together to decide their destiny. So I don't want to use some words then people will say you are committing treason and all that. So, but they said they don't tell anybody that war is coming. When there is war, you will know, and it will be like they often say, it will be visible even to those who are, you know, um, having challenges, of sight,
Yeah.
and audible even to those who are having challenges of hearing. I don't like using the word deaf and dumb and blind, because it's a kind of physical disability. So that is what it is for the Nigerian people. They can see clearly. Father, I was in a WhatsApp group during the week, and I was asking some friends there that imagine Peter Obi being president of Nigeria since May 29, and Nigeria is the way it is now. We for not hear word though.
Absolutely not.
So
Absolutely.
I'll stop it there.
Absolutely not. Well, Dr. Gbos, everything that we've seen, all the complaints we've had about this government has always been bordered majorly on two things: the profligacy, the way they spend money, the direction they tend to put money, and of course, their nepotistic approach to government. Peter Obi came out to question the 15 billion, and of course the vice president and his aides, they came after Peter Obi and they called him all sorts of names. And I was actually waiting to see if there would be some reactions, by Nigerians who understand what is happening and probably react to support the position of Peter Gregory Obi. But no. Now, given this, I want to ask you again, do you think that under this current arrangement, with everything they bring on goes, everything they bring on, passes and every other thing, and Nigerians are this passive? And I'll give you a little foundation as well. A few days ago, in one of the northern states, the Nigerian security operatives released, a drone. They said they were targeting terrorists, and they killed needlessly, over 80 Nigerians, women and children included, simple worshippers. And there's been no outcry. As a matter of fact, it's not even a big news to the Nigerian media. The international media is crying out seriously, but the Nigerian media, it looks like business as usual. This is happening under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Are we going to run away from this country, sir?
Yeah, I think I know the incident you are talking about, but first of all, to the tweet by Peter Obi on the 15 billion that the FCT authority is asking the Senate to approve for the renovation of the vice president residence. Obi has made it clear, and some Nigerians have also come out to support the stand that Peter Obi have taken. And some Nigerians have said that the statement that the chief press secretary to the vice president released is It's uncalled for. The language is not good because it was saying that suffering from
It doesn't. It's not. It's not. We cannot dignify it by
yeah,
even saying
election
it.
laws. We can't do that kind of thing. So people have condemned that. To be fair to that, but like you said, I think the people of Nigerians need to, take the destiny of the country in their own hands. Nobody is going to do it for us. Nigerians have to do it themselves. But I also feel that probably it is still early days. Maybe as things pan out, maybe some people are even saying, "Oh, let's give them some time. Let's see what will happen and all that." So human beings, how we talk. That is on one side. Then for the Kaduna incident, that was a complete disaster, and though the Nigerian army have come out to take responsibility for their error, and the funny thing, Lamte, this is not even the first time. If you data have shown that this has been happening from like way back 5-6 years ago. There have been incidents like this. So, but at the end of the day, just like what happened when people loot in our country, nobody is punished. So the news, they just talk about it 1 day, 2 days. After that, the whole story just
business as usual.
So because people in other countries, when this happen, you will be, even the chief of the army, he will have to step down if this happen in other, because somebody has to take responsibility. So commanders have to go. But Nigeria, they will just pally the whole thing and maybe punish 1 or 2 junior officers. That's it.
Dr. Gbos, I'll share this story, with you, and of course to everybody. Please, if you are there and you want to call in, our numbers are just right there. You can see them on screen. Please, you can call in. It is a comedy show, and of course, air your own, your own opinion on this. And don't forget, please follow us on TCS blog. I'm just going to, say this so that people can have. You were just talking about, nobody taking responsibility, no action. Do you know about 10, 12 years ago in Spain, there's a place we call Madrid Arena. Okay, they use Madrid Arena for concerts, music concerts and stuff like that. About 10, 12 years ago or so, there was a concert and there was stampede. 3 young persons died as a result of the stampede. My brother, till today, that incident is still being referred to. If I tell you the number of legislation that came out because of that incident, the number of people that resigned because of that incident, the number of people that that eventually had to face jail time because of that incident, to the extent that the architect that designed the building, the contractors, the reason why they did not, a building that would take over 1,000 persons, why they had such few exits and all of that, that legislation went to the extent of saying that when you are putting up any structure that's going to take 100 people, you must have X, Y, Z number of exits. It must be inspected by this and by that and by that. Just 3 children lost their lives in that particular incident. And the commission of inquiry that was set up, in fact, the nation was taken, by storm with what was going on, occasioned by government, policies upon policies. In fact, other existing structures like that, okay, they started putting measures in place to meet with, requirements occasioned by the legislation that came out because of that particular incident. In this same country, Nigeria, one Prophet TB Joshua had, something happened to one of his church buildings, where it was reported that about 200 persons died because the building collapsed. Under President Goodluck Jonathan, I remember that very clearly. A couple of days later, President Goodluck Jonathan paid a courtesy visit on TB Joshua. There was no commission of inquiry. There was nothing. It seemed like the only thing that we can waste without any recourse to anything, is the lives of Nigerians. And it's very, very sad. Well, Nigerians, we must cry out because of the way, this government is leading us. We must always cry out, particularly with the attention given to things that should not really be on the front burner. This country is hurting. I was talking to somebody, a couple of days ago, and today, President Bola Tinubu, before he came on board as president, a bag of cement was barely, 4,000 plus. Today, just 7 months into his administration, a bag of cement right now is chasing 7,000 naira. Nigerians cannot eat. I have interacted personally with a number of people. This Christmas is going to be, in fact, is going to be one of the worst that Nigerians ever, celebrated. People are just, hanging by the thread because of high cost of living. And I can tell you the truth. High cost of living in Nigeria can be ameliorated by those in government, by channeling our resources to the right places. Our health infrastructure is in fact, is in coma. There is no attention, given to that department. Our education, our education is another huge issue. Our lecturers are going on strike upon strike upon strike because of unfulfilled agreements with the federal government. And yet, we see billions and trillions being expended for individuals because they have been elected into power. Some of us think that this must change. If this country must move forward, there must be a change of direction. The worst part of it is that the people we have elected into our National Assembly, they are self-serving. They're not interested. All they are doing, all we see them doing, all they seem to do is to quickly grant whatever the presidency asks for, because they themselves are granting to themselves what they want. Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? Nigeria cannot continue to run like this. I think Nigerian people need to wake up. The people of Nigeria need to wake up to understand that, if they say power belongs to the people, we must now look at those things that make power belong to Nigerian people and hold on to them and demand a change of direction. That's exactly what we need right now. But that is what is there. The presidency have apportioned so much amount of money to themselves. If this is why Tinubu fought so hard to become president of Nigeria, it remains to be seen. But what we are seeing right now, we cannot exactly say that this is the direction of Nigeria. The only thing we can see is hardship, and more hardship. We do not yet see anything to say that this is a policy, okay, that is in the interest of the Nigerian people. If you do, please put your comment there. I stand to be corrected, but I do not see anything yet. But we'll keep the conversation on. Dr. Gbos, I know you have another matter that you want to raise. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Comrade Oriahi. And thank you for that summary that you did there. We're talking about the nation, and I've tried to always chip in the state government. I think state government also, because I've come to see that in Nigeria, most times we hit hard on the presidency right from the time of General Olusegun Obasanjo to Musa Yar'Adua to Goodluck Jonathan to Muhammadu Buhari, and even till now. So state governments need to also do more. There's a lot of resources that go to state government because they take a lot of this money that are shared, and a lot of state governors, they are just enjoying and flexing, the commonwealth of their people. So that being said, that brings me to the issue of Edo State 2024. Viewers of the Comrade Show, we want to remind you again that we are going to be bringing key actors of the Edo State governorship election that is slated for next year, 2024. We're going to be bringing them on this show so that they can interact, with Edo State people and even Nigerians, all over the world. So it's a promise we have made and we'll keep to it. So we are working behind the scene to make sure that this comes to pass. So, comrade, the political temperature is rising The mercury is going up in Edo State. My brother, how are you seeing it? Before, I want you to just briefly, how are you seeing the whole thing? I know last week I wasn't on this show, but I followed later and I saw the issue of homeboy and all the rest. So
Yeah.
how is it going from your own perspective?
I think that there are so many agitations. And each argument, I mean, the argument put forth for each agitation, for me, makes all of them valid.
Yeah.
But in the final analysis, those people they are going to decide. The PDP, of course, they are making their own statement. A lot of people are, picking interest to become the next governor of Edo State. We can see them. Of course, there's equally the discourse around the ASAN agenda. And amidst that, we have had a number of ASAN persons come out. Unfortunately, we don't appear to see any harmony among the ASANs. Okay, there's equally this internal, conflicts, if you may, amongst the ASAN people. You understand? Because I've heard arguments of some people are more ASAN than the others. But in the midst of that, we have a number of persons too from Edo North, who are equally, eyeing the same position. Then for the APC and LP, it looks like things are equally in top gear. And it remains to be seen what exactly is going to happen because a lot of politicking is taking place. There are some ASAN figures we know for the APC. There are some, people from, Edo, I mean, the Edo South, the Benin, and everything is looking the way they are. You understand? What makes the APC arrangement a bit interesting, and it remains to be seen what's going to happen, is that, first and foremost, we have some information. We cannot verify this, though, but we are always putting our ears on the ground to hear this information, that the leader of APC in Edo State, Comrade Soshomole, favored a certain, what's it called, senatorial district to produce the next governor. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appeared to favor a different person, and so how they are going to harmonize all of that, we do not yet know. And a few other persons too that are gearing for the same position have moved from APC and PDP to Labour. As a matter of fact, we hear that some of them have boastfully told their friends that they've set aside some billions to come and click the Labour ticket. So it remains to be seen. You understand? While all of this is taking place, the agitation for ASAN agenda is there. The agenda for a woman governor is equally there. And it looks like APC from information we are gathering, they have jettisoned zoning that let the best person become the candidate of the party. Meanwhile, on the flip side, going back to the PDP, another very strong information coming from there is that the issue of who owns PDP, who owns the structure of PDP, is still very much on the top burner. Whether it is the governor or it is the Dan Obi side. Okay, well, the governor, is flexing his muscle. He appears to be enjoying so much power right now. But we hear that the NEC, the national body, they are working with the Dan Obi, group. They call themselves the Legacy PDP. So at the end of the day, whether PDP is going to eventually have, primaries in February, whether they're going to have a united primary, given this arrangement, or they are going to have a parallel primary where the governor will have his own primary and the Nobi will have his own primary. On the side of the governor, we hear names like Asue Ighodalo, we hear Aslemu Jesua, we cannot exactly say where Philip Shuaibu falls right now. Meanwhile, on the part of Dan Obi, it is almost crystal clear that Ogbede Hama is the man they favor to be the candidate of the PDP. So at the end of the day, the ball amongst all of these political parties is going to fall on the very laps of the delegates. Who makes the delegates?
Yes.
Eventually is going to become the most key thing
Yeah,
in this matter.
I was coming to
And
that.
the criminality of this delegate arrangement is another one altogether.
I was coming to that, comrade.
So that's where
Yeah.
a summary of
Yeah.
what I think.
Yeah. So that because of time, so that we just take it one at a time.
Yes.
Please, viewers of the Comrade Show, if you want to be part of this conversation, our phone numbers, they are running on the tie here as you watch us. Pick your phone and call in. Thank you so much. Those that have made comments, Yana, the keys, Buki, Elizabeth, thanks for your messages that you've sent across. So you can be part of the show. It's not just us talking here. So, comrade, I want to ask you. You've mentioned you've done a kind of a summation of how this mercury, is rising as far as this temperature is concerned, and then you dived into the issue of the primaries, party primaries, the drama and the doings. We've had this conversation several times, in political circles.
Yes.
Our primaries seems to be the problem of our electoral process, apart from INEC.
It's one of it.
It's one of it.
Yes.
Because people do a lot. They work a lot to be elected into the office of party delegate. Because my brother, I hear that there's a lot of ilalobo
going on.
That position.
Yes.
So I want you to, put some searchlight into this party delegate thing.
When I think this statement is credited to what's it called, former President Buhari, when he said that if we do not kill corruption, corruption is going to kill us.
Yeah.
I think our democracy, if we do not kill the immorality, political immorality in this delegate arrangements, the delegate arrangement is going to kill our democracy finally. Now, I give you this. In the past couple of days, I had interaction with somebody in Edo State, and he told me that a certain human being just bought a cow and gifted a leader in one local government that cow. I don't want to mention the political party, because his name has been submitted to the national body of the political party as a delegate for Edo 2024 governorship election. He bought a cow to come and thank the leader who submitted his name.
What is wrong with buying a cow, my brother?
Huh?
Well, what is wrong with that?
Any man, I back in the day when I was a younger person, we used to go to farm and we set traps. Any man who sets trap with goats knows what he's expecting.
True.
If anybody is buying a cow of over half a million to probably around something near 1 million, I think you have a call.
Okay, we take the call.
Okay, let's take the call. Hello. Good evening, sir. We are on the Comrade Show. Are you calling to make contributions?
Yes, of course.
Go ahead, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Splendor. I'm calling from.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to react to what your second presenter was talking about delegate system. I think it's a feudalist idea. Our delegate system is a feudalist idea and it's very, very undemocratic. That is one. But on the other hand, you've given some analysis concerning the permutation from different angles from these different political parties and senatorial districts within Edo State. I think that what we should be looking at is Edo State. Edo State should be looked at and should be treated as a unique state. Because why? We need to go back to our history. Because if you look at the whole state in the South, you want to put Edo on the same pedestal with them, you are going to discover that we have been lagging behind very largely. Why is that? Very simple. We have allowed politics and politicians to take away our pride as Edo people. what makes us Edo people. Until we begin to go back to our history, to look at even our forefathers, our ancestors who were not that sophisticated, if they could conquer territory, advance a cause, that today even Edo is referred to as this cradle of black civilization. What has happened to us with all the education, with all the exposure? That's what we should be doing. That's what we should be.
So what's your point exactly? Can you just zero down on it?
My point is that I think we have narrowed down our own issue to senatorial district, who becomes the next governor and stuff like that. We have narrowed it to one nation agenda, one this agenda. I'm an innocent man, so to speak. I don't believe in all this rubbish. We just want a good state that will work, that will represent us, that will bring back our pride. That's just my own. Whether the person comes from the sky, I'm not bothered. Whether the person comes from the north, I'm not bothered. Whether the person comes from the south, I'm not bothered. Even if the person is even a foreigner and a white man, I don't care. As so long as we are able to go back to who we used to be and begin to build ourselves again. That is just my own dream. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your call.
Yeah.
Some people hold this opinion.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, go on, comrade.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on.
So, at the end of the day, some people hold this opinion, though selfishly. I will consider this guy's opinion probably because he's here as genuine, while others don't hold this opinion. So, like I was saying, the issue of the delegate arrangement is so fraudulent. And I said earlier that anybody who sets a trap with a goat, a full goat, knows what is expecting. If anybody goes ahead to set a trap with a full cow, the person knows what is expecting. We saw it in the presidential election when the parties were having their own primaries. People started celebrating brand new cars, in tens of millions, as what they got in bribe to support certain candidates. So at the end of the day, the delegate arrangement has become a harbinger of bribery. You understand what I'm saying now? Where people, as soon as your name appears as a delegate of a major political party, as a matter of fact, is another level of wealth that you are looking at, which is all that is bringing so much immorality to our polity. Because it is the same delegate arrangement that started the journey of, what's his name, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We saw what happened with the PDP delegate arrangement. We saw all the candidates, many of the candidates, you understand? The fillers came out. Our people were buying candidates. But with all due respect, the filler that came out about Bola Ahmed Tinubu was that he was buying, a fellow aspirant. All of these we cannot independently verify, but these are the fillers word on the streets.
So, go on.
And so at the end of the day, people have now seen the delegate arrangement as another avenue where, they can bleed the politicians. And the politicians are willing they are willing to give in to such bleeding, provided they get the nomination. But when they get a nomination and they probably eventually get elected, the result we see is what we see right now from the presidency, where billions and billions are being apportioned to self-serving politicians.
Now, comrade, because I just want us to zero in on this thing.
Yeah.
Edo State, we have 18 local governments.
Yes.
Spread across 3 senatorial districts.
Yes.
So if I use you as an example, if you were an aspirant now for a political parties, let's say political party X or whatever name it is. So you have 18 local government for your party and delegates are coming. Like, how much are you thinking, plus or minus? Because sometimes we just say some of these things. Is it that this delegate you just buy like water, or you give them transport fare to come? So from your own experience as a political commentator and analyst, what figures are we looking at?
There are no price tags anywhere. The thing is that the stakes, as the day go by, the stakes become higher. You understand? Right now, the stakes are very high. There is no doubt about it. on Saturday, I had an interaction with somebody, a very core person in those states. A friend of his has moved from one of the political parties to Labour Party. Okay, and the person told this man I was interacting with, who is his friend, that he has set aside about 5 billion to clinch the Labour Party nomination a ticket. 5 billion. Now, you will imagine that this 5 billion is not meant to buy water for, or buy books for out of school children. It's meant to sort out those that will give him the ticket in Labour Party. Now, I would imagine that other candidates of the Labour Party, many of them have equally set aside a huge sum of money to get the ticket. Because at the end of the only language...
that is, you are talking across all the parties.
Across all political parties, not just Labour Party.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Labour Party may even be the cheapest because it is the third, a political party in the States. Now, I think what I'm trying to say, in effect, is that our politics have, evolved to the extent now that the only language that the electorate understand is money.
The delegate.
Whether delegates or even being a delegate is a matter of very huge privilege. It's like a mini election in itself.
Yeah.
Now, I was talking to a brother of mine, who is equally a politician in those states, and we're talking about a political party already, sending information to what's it called? Some leaders in the party to send names, 3 names from each ward, okay, as people that will make the list of the ad hoc delegates. Now, what I told my brother is this: if we are serious as a nation, we don't need to have ad hoc lists as delegates. Delegates election, is designed to be very simple. But delegate election must be statutory, which means that the constitution must provide for people who are to be delegates. You can say that a party chairman at a ward level should be a delegate, a party secretary should be a delegate, a party PRO should be a delegate at the ward level, which means that the issue of becoming a delegate starts from the internal democracy of electing the party executives at the ward level and at the local government level to the state level. So that it is not when governorship election is coming, you begin to say, man, we are going to set aside, party leaders and choose some three people from each ward to make them delegates, which is another level of immorality that is operational.
But comrade, let me stop you.
Yes.
Because we are hitting the home stretch now to round off this program.
Yes.
If these delegates, like we are talking about Edo State now, these are Edo State people. So, and seeing the level of development in the state and every other thing, should the delegate not be listening to somebody that have got ideas, somebody that have the know-how, who can deliver? Because if you are a delegate and somebody is giving you, for instance, 1 or 2 million naira, should that not tell the delegate that if somebody like that gets in, this person is going to be stealing money? It's not going to do the work.
This same person you are talking about right now,
yeah,
probably this delegate has a wife and children and has some friends and every other thing.
Yeah,
and some of these people, they are unable to afford. They don't even know where their next meal is going to come from. And even if they do, they see some other friends of theirs who are romancing with politics and they are buying exotic cars, buying houses and all of that. So at the end of the day, the values of the people, has changed tremendously. There's a change in the value system. So at the end of the day, nobody's looking at that big English that one person is coming to speak to say that this person is a technocrat or the other one is this or that one is that. Particularly again, since the days of people like Lucky Millennium, where people had come out to go around the local government, around the walls, to speak this big grammar. And the people came out to make a choice to say, we are electing you. And since then to date, they cannot account for anything good in their own lives as ordinary people, occasioned by the people they have elected that came to speak this language. So who is going to listen to who at this time?
But can the delegates, take whatever they want to take and still do the right thing?
At the end of the day, the process in itself, okay, Peter B famously said that if you must become excellency, the process that must bring you on board must be excellent in itself.
Yeah.
Right from the beginning, right from the word go of the matter of this delegate matter, okay, it's fraught with corruption. At the end of the day, people that have been elected or selected delegates right now, they have been told by even those putting their names on the list to say, you are going to get XYZ amount of money as a delegate from politicians who are aspiring to become, candidates of our party. You understand? This XYZ amount of money you are getting, you are going to pay homage to this, to that, to that, to that. So they already know that this arrangement, okay, is an arrangement that one opportunity that they would have. They don't know if they are going to have any other one and that in years to come, to make their lives better, to grab something from politicians. So at the end of the day, the entire, the entire stretch is a very corrupt stretch. And that's why I was arguing that there is no need for us to have all of these ad hoc arrangements. Why not just have a constitutional arrangement put in place that nobody, so whoever is already in office, occupying that position, naturally becomes a delegate when the time for the election comes. I don't know whether you understand the picture of what I'm saying now. Yes. We're already here. And a certain political party in the States, later we're going to be, opening up on all of these. They want to set aside the elected officers that normally make up their delegate lists and use, approved ad hoc lists by their national body as delegates. And they have already compiled those names. It's among those names now that somebody has bought a cow to go and celebrate and gift a leader a cow for this Christmas for putting his name on that particular list to be delegate. So people are fighting to become governors in Edo State, fighting seriously, people are equally fighting to be delegates because you must pass through these delegates to become governor, which means that each delegate may be asking you to come and give them 100 million or 200 million or 50 million as the case may be. And when these politicians eventually spend all of this money, they go through the electoral processes, they become, elected, then we start crying that they are not doing, the bidding of the people. They are not public spirited. So it's a whole chain of very huge ring of corruption that we just need something drastic to break the jinx and reset the political dynamics of the Nigerian state. Otherwise, it's almost going to be hopeless.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Comrade Lante Ikpomosa Oriahi, for your deposition just now. Always a pleasure listening to you, my brother. So, viewers of the Comrade Show, time is not always our friend on this show. So, this is where we're going to anchor today. And we want to, appeal to the delegates, those that are going to be delegates. Please listen to your heart and not to your head, because you are going to determine the destiny of millions of Edo State people. So don't sell your birthright for a pot of porridge. Let's do the right thing, even at the level of nomination of candidates, so that only the best and the best alone will be delivered to fly the flags of the political parties. Don't sell your right. Don't sell yourself for a morsel of bread. So we're going to, anchor here, like I said. Comrade, I don't know if you have any other thing you want to say as we wrap up.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you so much for your encouragement. And, the Nigerians, please join us, help share, follow us on TCS blog. We're going to be doing loads of what we're going to be doing, from TCS blog. We are still using the commercial platform as well, but we just want to build that TCS blog as well, because a lot of attention is going to be shifting towards that direction, as we get along. And of course, like you said, to our delegates, to every Nigerian, to everybody who is privileged to, help determine the next level, let's be conscientious. This nation needs it. This country is dying. The country is bleeding. It's bleeding. I mean, earlier we've talked about the presidency and what they are doing. To be honest, before the presidency, this current crop of people came on board. We all have played our roles at various levels to ensure that they get here. We did so in the primaries. We did so in the elections for those who, went about fraudulent activities to get them, become elected. We all played our roles to get them here. We did so at the level of the court, with the judgment we gave and all of that. We did so by, remaining blind, to those important things that ought to set the record straight. We did so. So we have all contributed to building the monster that we have right now. And unless and until we start from this small level of determining the next level and do it consensuously, there is no way we are not going to get this kind of result that we are getting right now. Whether at the federal level or at the state level, it will always be like that. You understand what I'm saying now? So we need to rescue this country because a bag of rice is not cheaper, okay? It's not cheaper for me to buy, than you who collected probably 100,000 naira to do those fraudulent things. You understand? And that 100,000 or 200,000 or even 1 million naira, if you don't even finish, but at the end of the day, we all come back to the same square because everybody right now is lamenting the hardship in Nigeria. Both those that supported and fought and died for these people who are on board right now and those who were against them. Everybody is suffering the brunt. And I can tell you, it's not getting better. And I can also tell you that from what we have seen the last 7 months, okay, just get ready. 2024, people will eat human flesh because of hardship in this country. Go and mark my word. You will remember this day. Take note of what I've just said just now. Because a man cannot change, okay, his skin at old age. Not at all. What we see right now is going to be reflective of the whole of 2024. That's the way I see it. That's why I asked you earlier, my brother, what do you see? Do you see a bright future? Of course, we don't see it. Nigerians, God bless you for joining us. Thank you very much, Dr. Gbos. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Comrade Lante Bonsa Oriahi. So, viewers, thank you for staying with us. And our caller who called in, God bless you. And all those who sent in contributions, you engaged us in conversation and we really appreciate that. So until we come your way, same time, don't touch that dial. Have a great week ahead.
Yeah, hello, my guys. Yes, greetings to you. Please, if you are watching this broadcast, I beg not forget, follow us on the TCS blog. Now, there we're going to do many of our things right now. Somehow, for whatever reason it is, I don't know, we just can't do seriously on that serious about attack for other platforms. But, currently we are using TCS blog, just say the link, for up there, just click on it, follow us, and don't forget to click on the notification button so that when we do these things, what they do, you would be the first to know. Yes, my name is Lante Oriahi, TCS blog, and there we're going to use now. Please follow us there, man. God bless. And many cheers, man.